Peace and welcome to our top 10 swordsman themes in gaming. Our guidelines today include: it must be the theme of someone that uses a sword, and they must use that sword as their primary weapon. So for example, no Simon Belmont. The theme must be original. Sorry Luke Skywalker, but your theme was in a movie first. No pop songs allowed, so this means nothing like DDR or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which both use music by a bunch of different bands. Last but not least, the one per franchise rule is in effect. With all of that out of the way, let's get this started. Our number 10 spot is held by Meta Knight's Revenge from Kirby Superstar. Released in 1996, arranged and composed by Jun Ishikawa. If you are familiar with the Kirby series, then you know his work. He has worked on over 20 Kirby games. This version of the theme was from the Super Nintendo, but the version that really takes it to the next level for me comes from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It almost reminds me of some Yoko Kanno and her Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. In at number 9, we have the theme of Soma Cruz from Castlevania Harmony of Despair. This theme originates from Castlevania Aria of Sorrow on the Game Boy Advance, and while I do like that version, the compression of the GBA sound chip is a bit much. The CD quality version in Harmony of Despair is 100% worth a listen. It's a great game with an even better soundtrack. They take a bunch of classic Castlevania themes and work new renditions into the game. I highly recommend it. And at number 8, we have Zero from Mega Man X. Our only non-metal blade on the list today, we almost didn't include laser swords, but Zero himself was responsible for the rule change. Everything about this theme screams Super Nintendo. A lot of times you can tell exactly which console a theme comes from, and this is one. I like the energy behind the music. It fits right in with a game like Mega Man X. Our lucky number 7 spot goes to a swordsman that's a little bit unlucky. The theme of Frog from Chrono Trigger. So let's just say Frog really isn't a frog. And he's perhaps the most powerful swordsman on the list today. He literally cut a mountain in half with the Masamune. His theme has a very Super Nintendo type feel. I could easily picture this in any number of Super Nintendo RPGs. Arranged and composed by Yasunori Mitsuda. He's a top 10 composer in my opinion. His music isn't just a simple loop, he composes full-on melodies. This is an outstanding theme, and one of the more underrated tracks from the Chrono Trigger soundtrack. In at number 6, we have the theme of Adal Christian from the book of Ys 1 and 2. First appearing on PC 88 with all sorts of other releases following. Arranged and composed by Yuzo Koshiro. He did a masterful job with this theme. However, the rendition we want to talk about comes from the PC Engine CD, also known as the TurboGrafx CD in the West. This particular arrangement was by Ryo Yonemitsu, and I think he did a fantastic job taking that Yuzo theme to the next level. The CD quality is far beyond just some bleeps and bloops. The theme jams right along, and it's one of the rare video game themes that contains a guitar solo. Our number 5 spot is held by Nako Ruru from Samurai Shodown. Sometimes titled Banquet of Nature, other times titled Breath of Nature. It has a few names. She's based on the people of Ainu in Hokkaido, Japan, and Japanese see the Ainu as being close with Mother Nature, so you can start to see the influence. As in the game, her role is a defender of Mother Nature. The theme has a soft and I dare say natural feel. I think the usage of the flute and acoustic guitar is a good choice. When it comes to nature, the theme shouldn't be too digital or too electronic. Even in chiptune form, I think they did a good job. Unlucky number 4 is from one of my personal favorites, from Dragon Force, the theme of Mikal. As smooth as a track can be, and it just happens to come from one of the best Sega Saturn games available. The cost is probably a bit high for most people, but luckily I never sold mine. I still have the original disc I bought from Toys R Us. The theme has a traditional Japanese feel to it, mixed with some modern techniques such as the bass line. It all blends together really well. The track was remade when the game was re-released as a part of the Sega Ages series, and that version is just as good. It's actually a little bit smoother, there seems to be a little bit less compression, and it's great. In the bronze position today, we have a soundtrack that's jam-packed full of great themes. This one's titled Unbreakable Determination. Also known as the Master Ninja theme, this theme takes full advantage of that NES sound chip. We have talked about it before. We like these 3 Ninja Gaiden soundtracks so much, we did our top 10 favorites. I won't spoil anything, but this theme easily made the list. I enjoy everything about this track. The energy it brings, the pacing, and the way it fits with the gameplay. Basically, it's one of the best themes on one of the best soundtracks in the entire NES library. Our silver position today may be a little bit controversial, but I think it's evolved over the years. From The Legend of Zelda, Link's theme, also known as The Legend of Zelda's main theme. theme that originated on the title screen of the 8-bit NES console. However, through the years, starting with Skyward Sword, it's been adopted as the theme of Link. One example of confirmation could come from Soul Calibur 2. Link was a playable character, and this was his theme. Another example comes from Tears of the Kingdom, and the theme titled Remember This Name. A classic tune that has grown into the theme of Link. It's not only memorable, but it's one of the most iconic pieces in all of gaming music. It's definitely epic. Before we get to number 1, of course we have a few honorable mentions. Our gold medal today goes to the one-winged angel himself, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. A 7-minute masterpiece by the one and only Nobuo Uematsu, the man behind most of the music in the Final Fantasy series. When a piece of music is 7 minutes long, it better not be just a loop that plays again and again. You need to mix it up and keep the listener engaged. And I think this theme achieves that, plus much more. It's memorable, iconic, and one of the greatest pieces of music in all of gaming. So there you have our top 10 Swordsman themes in gaming. Quick shout out to Quantum X. This one was his idea. I know he's been wanting to do this one for a long time, so we decided to get it done. Also, huge shout out to Golden Tier patrons Bear Sona, Quantum X again, and of course MJJ. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.